All right. We've got a picture. There we go. Manage my sound. Okay, welcome. Hello. Haven't done this in a while, but oh, this lighting is weird. You look like an alien. Something better. Hey, okay, so I can't tell who's in the room. Again, using this software, I haven't learned it quite yet. But hi, welcome. So we're talking tonight about ex-champion kickboxer and now social influencer, controversial social influencer, Andrew Tate. So I've been promising this one for quite a while, and a couple of followers have been asking for it for quite a while and said, just post it already. You'll see as I go, I have a pre-prepped video. I'm sorry, I don't know why it looks like I have a mask on my face. I don't. It's just lighting. So I have I think it's the lighting and like at dusk being really weird with the green screen. But I don't know, look away. So I have a section of pre-prepared video that has a lot of the language and the arrows and stuff for the body language. The rest of it I couldn't pre-prepare. In fact, the very end I haven't even watched yet. So I decided to just move forward and do this as a team with you guys. So I can't wait to see the questions. And what I'm going to do is pause as I go and show you the micro expressions that I would normally maybe circle or write about. Hey, Aslan. Okay, awesome. Oh yeah, definitely respect the schedule. Stay as long as you can. Leave when you have to. We love you. Okay, so we're gonna just sort of jump right in. And what we're doing today is an interview or session really between Andrew Tate and a psychotherapist, a social media personality named David Setcliff. And he has quite the following. I'd never heard of him before, but I'm a little bit crushing on his professional style now that I watched this. Really fun. So a second, I have to share the link again really quick to make sure that some folks are able to get in. It's up now. Come on in. Okay, sending links. One more person can join me. All right, very much fun. Okay, so I decided to just jump in. The two of them kind of go at it in a sparring, good-natured, sportsman-like way in this, and I've been sort of resisting. Hi, Lotus, from California. Thanks for joining. I've been resisting the Tatesters for a while because watching them kind of gives me anxiety. They have, well, not as much Tristan, but Andrew definitely is a high anxiety, explosive movement kind of guy. And I find it easier to do my salty, snarky videos about him. But you guys, in good faith and all, interest of learning and science, you asked me to shut the heck up about all my snazzy commentary and give more information. So here I am to do that. Okay, so jumping right in. I can't promise I'm not going to still have salt. Okay, it's going to be salt. But I think we'll have a more respectful time about it. And Andrew is easier to like in this. He's not so hard to handle. He's not so hit. Not so hard. Okay. I think we've got here. Just gotta queue up the right document. Documents.
I'm paying attention.
Let your brain go and see what happens. Just be here with me and don't stop thinking. Stop thinking.
I can't stop thinking.
Stop thinking. You can't stop thinking. If you can't stop thinking, you don't have control over your mind.
All right, cool. So I stopped thinking, but because I wouldn't consider myself a present person. I am always thinking about what must be done. I'm thinking about
Interesting.
Always.
That you would confess that. You're not a present person.
No, I'm not present. I don't.
Okay, so that's a quick intro to just give you a sense of what their kind of sparring is like. And you can see this is a guy Andrew Tate actually seems to defer to. So they explore some interesting ideas, and he explores sort of his paradigms and how he views his life. Tip to Mama, yay! I'm so glad you're here. Oh, it's like the club is here. So he kind of explores his paradigms here, and that's what a good cognitive behavioral therapist does, right? They get you to gently, not by arguing with you and saying, you're wrong, what do you know, you're dumb anyway. A cognitive behavioral therapist is going to just be like, oh, okay, all right. And so how about this connection to that and that connection to that, and just start kind of shaking at them a little by little to help you see the connections to them, and then challenge your preconceived notions about all that. And I think that Setcliff does a really awesome job at that, and that Andrew is pretty open to being open to that here, right? And I don't know the background. I presume he can be a cool, chill guy, and here we actually get an example of that. He's willing to go with the flow. He wants to learn. He's willing to give up a little power, and let's have some fun and watch how they interact. Okay. Be patient with me as I still learn this platform. I think it can do amazing, amazing things, and I just don't know how yet.
See why. In fact, I'm going to change that. I don't see how you can put such importance on how you feel as a man, because it makes you non-competitive.
Well, but it makes you, what it does is it brings you into presence. And presence is the most powerful quality that you can have as a human being. And if you are not in touch with your feelings, if you disown them or you rationalize them in some way, you're not fully present.
Completely agree.
Right? So the reason we want to connect with the places we have fear or pain or sadness, right, or anger, whatever it is, it's not to feel it and let ourselves be a slave to it. It's just to let it come into our conscious awareness to know what it is. There's information there. It's data, right? And if we can be present with all that we feel, right, we're much more powerful beings.
Now, it's super interesting you said that, because you're right. Because I wouldn't consider myself a present person. I am always thinking about what must be done. I'm thinking about
Interesting.
Always.
That you would confess that. You're not a present person.
No, I'm not present. If I'm present in the moment, I'm either on my computer talking to someone else millions of miles away, or dealing with something else, or I'm doing this podcasting about how I have to spar afterwards, and then I've got a friend coming at 8:15 tonight. I have to see. I'm not present because things must be done, and they must be organized. I am not competitive if I'm present. I need to do things. Now, I'll agree with you. You're right. I'm very rarely present.
But here's my frame for presence, right? The reason I'm not all the way present, which is all the way here, is because there's something here that I don't want to feel.
No, I would say there's two scenarios in which I am very present. And we'll talk about them in a second. But I'm not a very present person, but I have sacrificed the idea of feeling presence and feeling happy in the moment for, let's say, absolute capability and legacy.
But would you agree that being more present would give you more power?
In certain scenarios. Well, look, I think that might be the reason I love fighting so much, because that's the only time I feel present.
Right.
Because I have to be right there, because one, I'm in pain, and two, if I'm not, I'm gonna be asleep.
I don't do this for fun.
Okay, so there we go. Before we move on to the next part of the clip, I just want to say, let's explore that idea of what he just dropped. Resonated with me because I remembered something I saw on him really, really recently. he said, that's what I love about fighting, because I have to be present and in the now when I'm fighting. And I had just seen this clip from back when he was younger, and it seems so honest to me, so honest. And so I'm not saying that Andrew is lying in this session. I think that he's been pretty honest, but I'm also not saying that I think he's as aware of every part of his self and emotions and the origin of those emotions as he thinks he might be. Right? So could be a little more complex than that. All right, so let's see this little next piece from when he was younger and see if you think it lines up.
This is not a sport to me. I don't enjoy it. I hate training. I hate fighting. This is I was born for this. I have no choice. I'm gonna kill. That's it. Pain. That's all I know.
What about your last fight tonight? What's going to happen?
I don't care. Put someone in front of me. Put someone in front of me. That's all I have to say.
Are you not present right now?
I am.
Are you present with me?
So I don't know. What do you think? He seems like he means it. Like, oh, this is nothing but pain. This is just like I do it because I have to do it. And that when he looks back on it, there's a little bit of revisionist history. Like, oh no, I love it. I love it. But is it like any transcendent process, like childbirth, like gut-wrenchingly painful when you do it, but it somehow has this amnesiac effect on you so that you forget long enough to do it later and think it's wonderful again? I don't know. You tell me. Let's keep going.
I'm paying attention. My brain's on. I'm paying attention.
Let your brain go and see what happens.
I
Just
am.
be here with me and don't stop thinking. Stop thinking.
I can't stop thinking.
Stop thinking.
I
You
am.
can't stop thinking. If you can't stop thinking, you don't have control over your mind.
All right, cool. So I stopped thinking, but
Just be in the place where there's no thinking.
Sure.
And just feel yourself, who you are, and see what happens.
and I believe I am, but I'm saying generally in life, I wouldn't consider myself a present person. I'm not the person who is enjoying the moment. But I am now because I'm focused. But now I'm focused.
But do you see the difference in the quality of the interaction we just had?
But okay, let me ask
Do
you
you
a
see
question.
the difference, though?
I do.
Yeah. And how did that feel?
It felt fine, but what's the difference? Fine. What's the difference? But what's the difference?
But weren't we more connected in some way? Isn't there more possibility to get to something deeper or something more truthful there when your mind is not constantly running?
But I haven't lied to you.
I'm not saying you've lied to me.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you've lied to me. I just said there's other levels, there's other layers, right?
Is there?
Is there? You get to it. That's why you fight. It's what you said, because it gets you out of your mind, fully in your body. And when you're fighting, you're in that zone. Some of their
focused.
intelligence opens up, though.
Yes.
You're doing things. You can feel that guy, and you can miss the punch by, and you don't even know why.
Correct.
Right? And so that is available all the time if you're willing to get present.
Does life require that degree of focus?
Not focus, presence.
I know they're slightly different. Maybe I see them as the same. I don't see myself as a particularly present person. I do enjoy the presence of fighting. I do enjoy the presence of driving fast cars very fast.
Right.
I'm thinking of it, just so you understand my mental model, when I think of guys, and I do know some who are like enjoying the moment, I very rarely enjoy the moment. Does that make sense? I don't ever, I'm sitting around and I'm like, yeah, I look around and go, I'm having fun. That's just not how my brain works, ever.
That feels sad to me.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Perhaps it is. I don't know. I'm not going to say it is because I don't feel sad about it, but let's imagine it is sad. I have no fear of feeling sad. If someone were to say to me, Andrew, you're going to enjoy the moment less because you're constantly preoccupied with running an empire that most people wouldn't believe is as large as you say it is, even if you told them. And you're going to have unlimited offspring who adore you. And you're going to have unlimited female interaction from women who truly would die for you. And you're going to be one of the most respected men on the planet. And you're going to have street cred in every city from Baltimore to Berlin. And you're going to end up going through all these trials and tribulations. And they're going to talk about your name after you're dead for hundreds of years. But you're not going to be present in the moment. Would you take that? And I would say, yes, sir, I would. Give that to me. I can't be present because there's too much happening. How can I be present? How can I be present with hundreds of millions of dollars and DCOT trying to put me in jail? And how can I be present? I've got things happening in my brain. I can't be present. I've got things to deal with. I've got problems. So I've sacrificed presence.
Maybe you have a mental model that says I can't be all the way present and do all of those things, and maybe that model is incorrect.
Well, presence is if you're truly present, then you're not worried about anything outside of the moment you're in.
Not necessarily.
How does that work? I'm interested.
Yeah, I mean, because the presence, right? You can let your consciousness go out, right? And you can be aware of everything, right?
I'm perspicacious is one of my favorite words. I am aware of what's happening.
Yeah.
I'm just not particularly interested in it. So I will sit at a table where everyone's having a conversation, and I'll sit on my laptop, and I'll chime up once every hour. I hear every word. I've analyzed every word. I know who's right. I know who's wrong. I know what I could have said. I know whose brain I could have changed, what mind I could have affected. I've already considered if it's worth doing, but I'd rather do my work, and I'll ignore it all until I pop up and say 3 words and control the entire conversation and go back to my laptop. I'm aware of everything. I'm just not particularly present because I feel like I've built a life which is so large that it's hard for me to be present in the moment. I'm present with my children for an hour or 2, and then it's like, okay, back to work. So
I'm going to pause it there and just observe that he seems to express here and there some signs of anxiety. He's adopted some really good techniques, like the hand motions that you have to adopt on purpose. Or this one that he's going for right now to create an illusion or a veneer of a certain charge, right? But these you actually have to be careful with because they're sort of the low-hanging fruit. But when you try to lock it down really hard and then you sort of get a little tired or give in a little bit to get to compromise, it ends up looking like this, more like this, and it looks kind of like lame and not strong anymore. So I would just avoid that one. And you see, Andrew Tate manages it pretty well, but a few times it does start to fall apart and look a little bit more like something not what he was going for. So being locked down too tight, I think, can be a symbol of anxiety. And David's affect, one of being sort of easy in his hands, is definitely a much better presence. David certainly has presence. And more importantly, I see some mirroring happening and reverse mirroring, which is going to be a tactic for both of them. But I do see some mirroring and reverse mirroring happening between the two of them as they spar intellectually and move closer and closer to this idea of maybe Andrew Tate is not aware of something in his mind that he would be willing to face, right? As they go closer and closer to this idea, and see where we keep going.
Was your father present with you?
no. But I don't think, but then this again.
I'm just saying, as a psychotherapist, when somebody said that, you said that he wasn't present with you. That must have been.
That didn't bother me at all.
It didn't bother you?
No. He had things to do. He's a full-grown man.
I mean, we could talk about the haircut tweet, but I didn't understand, your history that you were raised by a single mother. Your father wasn't around.
Yeah.
So you see him once a year?
About that, yeah. When we lived in America up to the age of 11, I saw him more often, once or twice a month maybe, and then.
When did they split?
I was 10 when they left. But I always understood he's very busy and has a lot to do. So I never.
Can you see how the boy might interpret that as my father doesn't care about me?
No.
You can see how, I understand you sitting here right now, but you understand like a little boy.
I think a little boy
might think, where's daddy? I want daddy. I'm here alone with mom.
And he might be right because some fathers may not care. But my father did care.
Right.
He was just very busy.
But it must have been confusing for you.
No.
Not for the little boy? No.
I'm being honest. I'm being honest. It wasn't. Okay. I never
or you cut off, or those feelings were so painful, overwhelming, you cut off from them so quickly and then created this mindset to deal with.
I never for a second felt like he didn't care about me, ever. I never felt that. It didn't cross my mind.
Consciously.
Consciously.
But is it possible that unconsciously you might have a different belief?
Son.
And that on some level, some of what you're doing in the world is motivated by that, like wanting to win the love of your father?
I think that is semi-true, but I'll tell you, I think that's
fine.
No.
Fine.
That's semi-true.
Judgment.
That's semi-true because I believe I have a duty to my ancestors. I don't think it's coming from a place of I'm broken trying to fix myself. I think I have the last name Tate. It was bestowed upon me, and I have responsibilities to live up to the last name Tate.
Yeah.
I do believe I have a duty to my ancestors. So is that trying to win the love of my father? Perhaps. I never felt unloved by my father, ever. In fact, I would argue I had the best father on earth. I never felt like I was owed all of his time. It was very clear to me at a young age that he's extremely busy and extremely important, and that I can earn his time, or that I can't have as much of it as I want.
You have to earn his time?
Yeah.
That was a son should have to earn his father's time?
Yeah, why not?
Because he's a boy.
True.
And
So
the father's love should be, at least for a boy, unconditional in some way.
Love and time are not necessarily the same thing.
Okay.
If I told my father, I want to play chess, I want you to teach me chess, he could find 2 hours. If I said to Dad, I want to play video games or let's watch TV together, he'd say, no, son, I have things to do.
Right.
So to a degree, I had to earn his time.
Yeah.
His time was valuable and it could not be wasted.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a duty to my ancestors. I don't feel like, and when I'm in jail, I feel like I can't disappoint him, and I feel like I do good for the world. I don't think this is me being some kind of broken secret. This is where we're going to disagree. You're going to think I'm some broken child
Gobbling up
inside.
bunnies
It's
over
like,
here.
okay, well, the inner child, or
just-
I'm guessing, but
Well, yes, inner child.
okay,
yeah.
I don't think it's anything to do with
An
that.
inner child?
I think it's duty. I think I have duty and I have honor.
Yeah, I understand you have duty as a man, but that doesn't mean the inner child is not there. And I guess that's if the inner child has been disowned in some way, or his feelings have been relegated to the unconscious, like that's impacting you, that's affecting you. And knowing what those feelings are and how they impacted you, I think would be important information for you.
But I was never sad. I can't say I had a hard childhood. I can't say I was sad. I can't say I wish he was different. Once again, and once again, let me psychoanalyze myself.
Yeah.
Once again, this might be rationale. I might be rationalizing.
Yes.
I might say, well, whatever happened made me the person I am today, and I love who I am today, so I'm glad it was the way it was. Perhaps. But once again, I think that puts me in the correct mental framework to be as capable as possible. I'm not going to sit here and say, I wish my dad did something else. What's the point? That's asinine.
Both things can be true, though. I wanted to see my father more. I wish he was there, and he wasn't. And now I'm here, and I'm going to make the best of it. And this is the result of that. And I've turned myself into this beast because of it. I mean, you made the most of the situation, but that doesn't discount the place where you may have wanted more from him. You may have wanted more love, more connection, just more time.
I think my father did the best he knew how to do, and second, he did exactly what was necessary to make me the person I am today.
Would it be okay for you to be angry with your father?
No, absolutely not.
Why
It's
not?
disrespectful.
Why not? Why?
Because he's my father.
But I'm not saying that you would have to confront him. I mean, obviously he's not here, but it's just like
That's selfish.
But if it's just a feeling, right? If it's just a feeling that wants to come,
It's ungratefulness.
well, you're judging the feeling.
Okay,
Yeah, I am.
here's what I mean
For me
about
to
that.
sit and disrespect.
His fingers. When they've gotten this low, they're
Would it be
just
okay
tired.
for you to be angry with your father?
It's
No,
kind of
absolutely not.
Why
It's
not?
disrespectful.
looking.
Why not? Why?
Because he's my father.
But
It's just a bad
I'm not
look.
saying that you would have to confront
Not a-
him. I mean, obviously he's not here, but it's just like,
It's not a powerful.
That's selfish.
but if
Pick
it's
it
just a
up a little,
feeling,
right?
right? If it's just a feeling that wants to
It's
come,
ungratefulness.
well, you're judging the feeling.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
For me to sit and say to the man who made me the man I am today,
Yeah.
who I, once again, never felt unloved by, who tried his very best to raise me, who sacrificed for me to exist, who gave me my last name, who bestowed upon me the honors and principles and morals I live by today,
Yeah.
for me to be angry at him because he was busy some days would be brutally ungrateful. No, I'm not allowed. No, I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed that feeling. It's ungrateful. I refuse to accept it. I refuse to feel it. I truly believe I had the best father on earth. I truly believe it. I don't believe, even now, if I have sons, I don't talk about what children I have publicly, if I have sons or when I have sons or my sons I have, whichever one it is, they will get my time, sure. They will get my dedication, absolutely. But I have expectations of them because of their last name. And they're going to have my time while we're working towards something fantastic. I'm not going to just sit around with my kids just for hours because they just deserve it. There's no participation trophies in the Tate household.
Right.
And time is a trophy, and it must be earned, like everything else in life. So I'm not going to sit and have sons and go, well, he's my son, so we're just going to all day do fucking nothing. No, we're going to all day do something important.
For sure.
Or I'm going to go do something important. And he can sit around and do nothing by himself.
For sure, but you can also imagine if you had sons and you saw them once a year, that would have an impact on them. Like, how would you feel about that if you had sons and you only saw them once a year?
I think I'd miss them, of course. They'd miss me.
I bet your dad missed you.
Oh, completely. Absolutely.
I bet he was sad there.
Oh, completely.
And I wonder if he had self-judgment about it. I wonder if he questioned himself.
Well, I think as a man...
Because would you do that?
Well, as a man, you have to make a choice. And I think it used to be more binary than it is today because of the nature of money and empire and how things work. But as a man, you have to make a choice. You either go to war and come back with stories, or you sit at home all day and be a second mother, and then you're not a man. You have to find the balance between the two, right? Yeah. My father was away a lot, but he wasn't away a lot because he was doing nothing, right? So if you have a soldier as a father, okay, he's not there, but he's doing something. He's coming back with a story. And I think that was typical in a lot of households for a very long time. Maybe it's changed a little bit in modern times, but typically the man went away, did whatever he had to do, and then came back with a story or a hunt or whatever.
For sure.
So that's how I saw my father living his life, and that's how I want to live my life. I will do the same thing. I don't think I would be the same man if I decided to say, okay, I have a son now, so I'm just gonna stay at home. And I think that I need to be a kind of man my son wants to emulate, which means I have to be a hero, and I don't think you can be a hero sitting at home. So I think that I need to, yeah, he needs time, of course he does, but he also needs an example set, and that example must be set out there in the harsh, brutal realities of the real world. So, yeah, it's time. Now the argument is quantity of time versus quality of time. And I would argue that the quality of time I will give my sons is going to be much higher than
you would want to give them that.
Oh, completely.
You'd want to give your sons more quality time than you had with your father.
I'll give them the exact same amount as he gave me.
Will you?
But if I'm happy...
Would you not want to give them more?
I may want to.
You wanted more.
I didn't say I wanted more. Oh. That's smart. I didn't say I wanted more.
You didn't? Yeah,
no.
You must have.
No, I'm saying that...
Boy wants time with his daddy. It has to be true.
If I wanted it, I could have earned it anytime I wanted.
Well... are you sure about that?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
When we go, I don't know if we need to read the tweet, but it's like, your mom was pretty upset with him. So he was like, I'm not coming back here. It wasn't just about you, it was about your mother.
Oh, completely. And I think my father sacrificed his marriage for us boys. He sacrificed his marriage and his relationship with my mother to ensure that us boys were taught the way he believed we should be raised. My mom was very unhappy with certain things he did, which he insisted on doing anyway because he saw his legacy in us as more important than his marriage with my mother. But I'm not saying, look, if my son calls me and says, I'm really upset, I need to talk to you, I'm not gonna say, no, you can't talk to me. I'm not psycho, right? I understand all of these things. I'm just saying, obviously we're talking about a very general scenario. The general scenario is, I'm a man, I'm away at war, I come home with a story, or if I'm spending time with my son, I want us to be building him as an individual. I believe that the mother does a lot of the day-to-day keeping the child alive, changing diapers, feeding them, etc. And the man is the one who instills a lot of the mindset, and the man is the one who grows them in very important ways. And I think to do that, I need to be a man of genuine capability. And I would argue that the 2 hours a month or 2 hours a week or whatever I spent with my father, him being the man he was worth more than the 200 hours a month that most men spend with their fathers. That's why I am the man I am. Yeah. So there'll be some fathers who sit and say, I could never do that to my son. Well, what can you do? You can go do fucking basically nothing with your life, pay your taxes, come home, be bitched at by your wife, be quiet about it, and be with your son all the time. Sure, you win in quantity of time, but who you are as a man and what the lessons you can really teach, you lose in quality of time. So I believe my father was such a fantastic figure that it's the quality of his time that made up for the quantity. And the only way to do that is to go out in the world and be fantastic. And we can actually extrapolate this out to other things. Let's look at relationships, for example. I see men who spend every day with their woman. That's fantastic. That's fine. That's how he elicits her love and her attention.
Are you rationalizing?
I'm completely. That's how that's how my brain works.
Yeah.
I see men who spend every day with their woman, which is fantastic. He wants to, she wants to, that's great, they're happy. she feels loved and she feels respected and she's glad she has all of his time.
Mm-hmm.
When you reach a certain quality of man, a certain level of man in terms of competence, a certain echelon, I don't have to spend all day with a woman. I can see a woman 1 hour a month and she'll be loyal to me because I'm me.
Right.
Because the quality of who I am and the quality of my time outweighs the quantity which can be offered by a lesser being.
Yeah.
So you can put this in nearly any dynamic. You can put it in a romantic relationship and also in a family dynamic. Once you reach a certain level of competence, once you're at the highest echelons of human achievement, your time is by extension more valuable and it extrapolates out. An hour with the president is worth more than 100 hours with a guy at McDonald's. It's the same. So I think my father raised me by not being there. He raised me by being out there and doing so many fantastic things and being such a fantastic individual that I understood I had a duty to him and a duty to my last name, and I can't be his son and not be fantastic. So I think he raised me in absence. That's what I think he did.
You're proud of yourself that you got there. You won that one.
But I think
no,
he did.
that's good. No, that's actually a fair argument. That would be the argument about God's will. That was God's will.
Yeah, I think
And
he is.
so I have to surrender to it, and this is what it is, and my task is to deal with it. And maybe
He
there are
says he has a
feelings
good
you have about it that you
relationship
don't
with his
fully
mom.
understand, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, you're here now, and you're doing your thing, and you're living your life, and it's all good.
Yeah.
All right, that's that section. There's a lot more of this section, except full screen. There's like 3 sessions of 3 hours long. I just pulled out this one theme, and I thought it would be fun to explore. Started doing the effects, and I thought, we'll just go through. I don't know if you guys like better if I talk through part of it and then just play it uninterrupted, or if I play it uninterrupted first and then go back and talk through part of it. No, I guess 1 for the first option, play it through while talking and then replay uninterrupted. Number 2 for the second option, play it uninterrupted and then replay and talk through. That would be number 2. I need votes. Okay. All right, so that's a big one I had for him right now, but there's another Andrew Tate situation I wanted to address. So while we're here, we might as well. And this requires me, of course, having to go off screen for a minute into my video bank. But I'm trying to figure out if I have the videos of the little incident that happened, the little arrest and miscommunication. I think I do, but I'm not sure exactly where right now. Talk to library. Okay. All right. Wherever my screen has gone. Or off. Here we go. Yeah, 2. Okay. I prefer 2. All right, pretty fun. So what do you guys think about him? He says he loves fighting because that's when he's present. We saw that video from when he was younger, talking about how much he hates fighting. This is not a sport for him. He hates it. It's pain. It's all he knows is pain. And just leaning into that. What did you think of that video? Do you think that he genuinely looks back and sees fighting with a more mature perspective now? Or that he glorifies the past? Yeah, hard to know. But I thought this one would be a fun one to show. And next one I'll prepare the videos ahead of time and prepare. I think it's Aiden that accidentally leaked his plans to leave town and got him arrested again, just in case he was planning on running, which isn't what happened exactly, but that's the story. So we can get more into that later when I show the whole thing and show the story and get salty about that. Tell me what you think. What you like about it? What you find useful? But most importantly, stay salty. Good night, you guys.